If you like this video, please give a thumbs up and subscribe. Hit the bell icon to be notified of new videos. Majestic 12, one of the topics that obsess American ufologists but also divides them into groups, is the existence or non-existence of an official, mysterious and ultra-secret group called Majestic 12 or MJ12, the only one to have access to all the secrets of alien presence on Earth. The partisans of the conspiracy scenarios are certain that since 1947, we have evidence of the existence of aliens. The Roswell Air Base would be known all over the world after witnessing the crash of an unidentified flying object with a strange crew aboard. The euphoria of the audience was quickly reassured by the authorities, who denied everything after 3 days, trying to prove that it was a meteorological bubble that upheld the public's imagination. Fascinated by Orson Welles' radio show, War of the Worlds, Majestic 12, or MJ12, is a special and secret commission in the U.S. government, created in 1947 by U.S. President Harry Truman, to investigate the activity of UFOs. Read more on Wikipedia. MJ12 was a group that worked to determine how to deal with alien activities in case of contact or other UFO activities in the United States. One of their tasks was scientific development, but the main purpose was to follow all the information that appeared on UFOs and to analyze these data both from a scientific point of view and to improve American technology. The MJ12 would include US President and Vice President, CIA Director, NSA Director, and others. The MJ12 headquarters are at the Naval Observatory in Washington, D.C. MJ12 is only responsible to the President of the United States. In fact, sometimes, the MJ12 can even go over the President. It seems that MJ12 was the one who ordered the assassination of US President Kennedy, for he would have threatened to disclose to the public facts about the presence of aliens on Earth. President Harry Truman organized this MJ12 group and was classified as ultra-top secret and began his research in the Watertown area of Nevada, better known as Area 51. Between 1953 and 1954, President Eisenhower extended MJ12 activities to the Grudge Project under the auspices of MAGI, Majority Agency for Joint Intelligence. Parallel policy theorists believe that all MJ12 activities have led the US administration to negotiate with an alien civilization. The main suspicion is aimed at a dangerous exchange, biological extraterrestrial experiments on humans and animals in exchange for providing ultra-advanced technology. It is believed that through the Garnet Project, the MJ12 has the mission of censoring any credible information about extraterrestrials and deleting all traces of third-degree contacts. To silence those who would like to break this terrible censorship, MJ12 would have set up the Delta Project, of which are the famous Men in Black. The theory of alleged secret collaboration between the US government and the aliens was supported, especially in the 1980s, by Milton William Bill Cooper, a non-commissioned officer in the Air Force. Cooper states that during 1970 to 1973, while working for the Pacific Military Fleet Headquarters, he had access to two materials: Report No. 13 of the Grudge Blue Book Project and a summary of the Majority Operation, which would have been linked by an ultra-secret official. MJ12 Report 13 would have found data on UFO collapses, recovered corpses, live aliens, photographs, kidnappings, UFO analyzers, etc. According to Cooper's statements, there are extraterrestrial races with which the Americans are in contact. His statements join the quoted sources of doubtful credibility, who have argued over time that structures in the CIA and U.S. Special Department's Army have a long-standing relationship with three species of alien beings that, from all nations of the world, would have chosen to come into contact only with the Americans. For a better understanding of alien races, you can read Book of Alien Race. Bill English, an officer in the Green Berets, also states that he saw Report 13, a 624-page material, apparently made in 1953 and up-to-date in 1969. Cooper and English claim that in 1964 at the Holloman base, an agreement was reached that extraterrestrials had promised technology in exchange for permission to kidnap people for experiments. Under the same agreement, the US government was to build several underground bases in which aliens would be hosted along with their ships, and where technology exchanges would take place. The general public should not have been told anything about it. Cooper states that in 1972, aliens were already in 5 U.S. underground bases: New Mexico, Nevada, Utah, Colorado, Dulce, New Mexico. For the same purpose, the government would have made dozens of underground cities located deep underground. The first revealing documents on Majestic 12 date back to 1980, when Stanton T. Friedman, Bill Moore, and ufologist Jamie Shandera designed a UFO movie. The film was not made, but on December 11, 1984, Shandera received a 35mm white-black film roll, UN developed by mail from an unknown sender in Albuquerque, New Mexico. After the development, it was seen that the film contained photocopies of an 8-page document classified as top secret. Magic. The document was made on 18 November 1952 by Rear Admiral Roscoe H. Hillenkoetter, former director of the CIA, and was intended for General Dwight D. Eisenhower, the new U.S. President-elect. In March 1985, Jamie Shandera and Bill Moore took possession of another document, sent to General Twining on July 14, 1954, by Robert Cutler, Special Assistant to President Eisenhower, referring to the MJ-12 Special Study Project. Subsequently, many other writings and papers will appear in which the Majestic 12 group bears the names Magic 12, MJ 12, Majority 12, Majesty 12, etc. Copies of the papers were also sent to other well-known ufologists, including Jenny Randalls, Whitley Strieber, and Timothy Good. This, a renowned British UFO investigator, introduced the papers in his book Above Top Secret 1988. The 12 members 1. Dr. Vannevar Bush Drive. Vannevar Bush, considered the leader of the group, former director of the Joint Research and Development Board after World War II. Previously he held leading positions at the National Research Council and the Office of Scientific Research and Development, where Manhattan Project research was conducted at Alamogordo, New Mexico. 2. Roscoe Hillenkoetter. Roscoe Hillenkoetter, Vice Admiral, first Director of the CIA, after his resignation, became a member of the NICAP, National Investigation Committee on Aerial Phenomena. 3. Dr. Detlev Wolf Bronk Drive. Detlev Wolf Bronk, scientist, former president of the National Research Council, and advisor to the Atomic Energy Commission, was the head of the alien autopsy team that was found near the UFO 4. James Forrestal. James Forrestal, Secretary of the U.S. Navy, Secretary of the Ministry of Defense. 5. Gordon Gray. Gordon Gray, Assistant Secretary of the U.S. Navy, President Truman's Special Assistant for National Security Issues, National Security Director of the CIA's Psychological Strategies Committee. 6. Dr. Jerome Hunsaker. Drive. Jerome Hunsaker, Chief of Department of Mechanical Engineering and Aeronautics. 7. Dr. Donald Menzel. Drive. Donald Menzel, Astronomy Specialist. 8. General Robert Montague. Gen. Robert Montague, Commander of Sandia Air Base in Albuquerque, New Mexico. 9. Sidney Suez. Sidney Suez, former CIA Director and Executive Secretary of the National Security Council, NSA. 10. General Nathan Twining. Gen. Nathan Twining, Commander of Air Materiel Command headquartered at Wright-Patterson Air Base. 11. Dr. Lloyd Berkner. Dr. Lloyd Berkner, Executive Secretary at the Joint Research and Development Board. 12. Hoyt Sanford Vandenberg. Hoyt Vandenberg, former CIA Director. In 1948 he served as Chief of Staff of the United States Air Force, USAF. Currently, all of these 12 members are deceased. Majestic 12 is an important part of the theory of UFO conspiracy about governments that are holding information on UFOs. The Federal Bureau of Investigation concluded that the documents associated with the Majestic 12 Commission are completely false. In 1996, after the investigation and actually, the verification of the Majestic 12 documents, Stanton T. Friedman said there was no substantive reason to reject their authenticity. In July 2013, ufologist Grant Cameron published his views on the subject. He points out that the idea of such a group appeared in the early 1980s when investigator Bill Moore published the highly successful book, The Roswell Incident, which was thought to have been the precursor to the modern obsession about the Roswell accident. Since the launch of Grant Cameron's book, in January 2013, 2 more new pieces of evidence have emerged that confirm that there was an MJ-12 control group. The first came from a story told by Jesse Marcel Jr., the son of the Roswell Army Air Base intelligence officer, the first to tell the details of the UFO crash in July 1947. Pilot John Lear declared in the 1980s that he had information that the US government sold the human race to extraterrestrials who would be wrong. John Lear, son of a famous inventor and aircraft builder, flew over 160 types of planes, participated in several CIA missions, repeatedly knocked down speed records, and was the only pilot in the world to own all types of planes flight certificates issued by the Federal Aviation Administration. He claimed that there are thousands of aliens in Dulce, the northern state of New Mexico, and other bases in the multi-stage underground laboratories. There, too, we would live. According to Lear, a large number of specialists, foreclosed forever, according to the pilot. According to conspiracy theory followers, in the last 50 years, there have been over 300 confidential meetings between aliens and representatives of the US government.